I found that the glass of the window in front of me was actually broken. Was it a thief who got in? Then, I discovered through my phone that Jason Zhang was hiding behind me. This guy is really clingy. The next second, Jason Zhang wielded a knife and stabbed towards me. Fortunately, I discovered him first and dodged his attack in time. The sneak attack failed. Jason Zhang instantly became furious. You are as slippery as an eel. But this time, let's see who else will come to help you. I also got angry when I heard that. This crippled guy has tried to kill me several times. I am prepared to take ruthless action as well. Attack first to gain the initiative. I hit him square in the face with a hammer. I thought I had succeeded, but I didn't expect that after I hit him with a hammer, he could still stand. I took a closer look and found out that it was actually Mirror Ghost who helped him block the hammer just now. Can't do this, can't handle 2 against 1, time to retreat. The situation is not good, I have to make a quick exit. But how can one outrun a ghost? I saw Mirror Ghost flash past, and the next moment he appeared in front of me. In an instant, he knocked me down. I, who was pressed to the ground, could only raise my hands to resist with all my might. Misfortunes never come alone. Jason Zhang, this creep, saw me still struggling on the verge of death. He then raised the knife and stabbed towards me. Your mother is lost. Am I really going to die here this time? In a critical moment, I can only seek help in desperation. Just randomly tapping on the phone. I can't believe I stumbled upon success like a blind cat encountering a dead mouse the next second. Suddenly, countless red lights emerged from the phone, just like a tornado destroying a parking lot. In an instant, it filled the entire room. The sudden turn of events left me dumbfounded. As the red light gradually dispersed, Isla Zhang's figure suddenly appeared in the air. At this moment, Isla Zhang's long hair was waving, blood trickling from the corner of her eye. Her eerie giggle seemed extremely sinister. But in my eyes, she shone like a dazzling angel. The savior has arrived. Before I could say anything, Isla Zhang's long hair pierced into Mirror Ghost's body like a sharp sword. Just by hearing its howls of pain, one could deeply feel the heart-wrenching agony. Jason Zhang also got scared and stopped in his tracks when he saw the scene. What kind of ghostly thing did you summon, kid? This is too scary. I didn't pay attention to this curious baby's question. This guy almost got me killed just now. I approached him with a heart full of anger and a big hammer in hand to smash him. With a crisp sound, I successfully smashed this creep away. I watched Jason Zhang lying on the ground and not getting up. I couldn't help but let out a sigh, finally resolved it. On the other side, Isla Zhang also dismantled Mirror Ghost into pieces. I looked back and couldn't help but be shocked. I saw that Isla Zhang had completely changed her art style at this moment. She was stuffing 2 dark objects into her mouth. She was chewing noisily and with relish. It felt as if she was enjoying a sumptuous feast. Halfway through the meal, a loud burp signaled the end of the battle. Watching this scene, I couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. How does it feel like this girl hasn't had enough to eat yet? Suddenly, a black shadow swiftly passed before my eyes. When I came to my senses, I only felt a sharp pain in my eyes. It seemed like something had flown into my eyes. After looking in the mirror for a long time, I didn't find anything unusual. Oh well, it must have just been a mosquito. I sat down in a corner and took out my phone. I told Captain Lee about the news of Jason Zhang being arrested. Old Lee scolded me again after hearing that, but finally it was over. I hung up the phone. I just felt weak and collapsed against the wall and fell asleep. The next morning, I was already back in bed. The aftermath of Peaceful Apartment has been cleaned up. The issue with the mirror has also been resolved. Next, we can start thinking about expanding Adventure House. Oh well, I'll go back to bed for a little nap. When I wake up, I will talk to Uncle Shu about renting the basement. I hadn't even closed my eyes for 2 minutes when my phone rang. It was a call from Ella. What happened to little Ella? She didn't open the door in the morning, and now she's working in the afternoon. Boss! Wake up quickly. Many police officers and journalists have come to Adventure House. Did you do something wrong? I jumped up at the words, puzzled by the dense crowd of people outside the door. Boss, why don't you turn yourself in? I feel like this has already become a big deal. Fuck your mother, what first? I'm fine, I'll come down now. I quickly cleaned up and just opened the door to go downstairs. I saw a chubby police uncle walking towards me. You are Ryan Chen, I am surnamed Yen. I got to know your situation from old Lee in West City. Haha, Captain Lee. I was puzzled by his words. I have no idea why this chubby uncle is looking for me. I hope nothing serious has happened. Who knew that the fat Uncle Shoe type pulled out a box from behind and loudly called the nearby media to come closer. Then, under my puzzled expression, he started his speech. Comrade Ryan Chen assisted in the capture of the criminals from Peaceful Apartment and provided crucial clues. I now represent the organization to present him with the honorary medal. It turned out to be a public commendation for me. What a relief. For something that can increase the popularity of Adventure House, I naturally can't resist and accepted the medal with a smile. I even intentionally struck a few more poses. After that, Ella Shu came over and showered me with a flurry of compliments. Give it a rest. Just now you were the one encouraging me to be honest. Go cool off on your own. Uncle Shu is coming to find me. After dismissing little Ella, I started discussing my idea of renting a warehouse with Uncle Shu. Uncle Shu was originally not very agreeable. After all, the foot traffic at the amusement park is extremely dismal now. The next door is about to build a virtual amusement park. He's worried that I might be jumping into a fire pit. But after my repeated insistence, he finally agreed to help me contact the chairman to explain the matter. In no time, he returned with the contract. It seems that the chairman agreed very readily. After arriving at the basement, I looked at the huge area. I couldn't help but squeal with joy. In the future, we can set up new scenes here. Wait until the scenes gradually take shape. The turnover is still not taking off. I can already imagine the scene of the pinnacle of life. Ha ha ha. No more words. Let's get straight to work. I just need to pull out the scene on my phone screen, and it will appear in the corresponding area in reality. I have to say this setting is simply too user-friendly. It's directly virtual mapping reality. Midnight ticket booth. Soon the ticket booth was built, with functions introduced. Midnight ticket booth has a 1 in 1,000 chance of attracting special visitors. These visitors may become your allies. Can you play like this? Does becoming an ally mean you can recruit them as members of the Adventure House? Without waiting for me to think more, little Ella's exclamation came in. It turns out that this girl saw a suddenly appearing building and felt very confused. So I casually made up a reason and said that we had just hired someone to build it last night. From now on, that will be our territory. This girl is easily fooled. She just believed my nonsense directly, and even praised how great it was. Then she took out her phone. Boss, many hot search topics are about your photos now. And there is news about our Adventure House too. Just as I was about to look closely at my handsome photos, I suddenly received a system prompt. The first special guest has appeared. I looked around. The sun was shining brightly. It's a bit outrageous to go out at this time with ghosts and creatures about. At the same time, a mother and child appeared behind me. Hello, boss. May I ask if there's a half-price ticket for children? I turned around and was instantly captivated by the child in front of me. I saw that the boy was emitting black smoke all over his body, which looked extremely eerie. Is he the special visitor? To ensure nothing goes wrong, I cautiously brought him to the ghost marriage scene with a 1-star horror rating. I didn't expect him to come here. Even the campus belle of the medical university was scared and peed herself. He seemed to be in a real amusement park. He was having a great time, and he even specifically headed towards the spooky places. His parents were terrified when they saw him like this. His parents hurriedly stepped forward and pulled him back. At this moment, LSU, dressed as the ghost bride, happened to appear, giving the parents a big fright. The little boy, on the other hand, upon seeing LSU in her makeup, excitedly moved forward to hug her, as if he really liked her. I watched the two people happily playing in the distance. I couldn't help but sigh. This child is really special. The parents also mentioned the reason. Since her parents had an accident a few years ago, she has become like this. Even seeing a psychologist hasn't helped. LSU was stunned when she heard this and said, "Aren't you her mother?" I am Aunt Fan of little Leo. Both of little Leo's parents are teachers at Twilight High School. Years ago, they suddenly disappeared. So little Leo has been with me since he was 5 years old, but I have never dared to tell him about his parents' disappearance. After seeing off the tourists, LSU can't help but reminisce about what just happened. That child is really interesting. Not afraid of me at all. He even held my hand and looked for things in the scene. I looked at her in confusion. LSU continued saying, I asked him what he was looking for. He said he was looking for heaven. The first special visitor has left. You made the right choice during this time. Congratulations on unlocking the hidden trial quest, Twilight High School. Screaming Index 2 stars. After experiencing all 4 branching quests in this scene, and still surviving, you can unlock the scene. Quest prompt. Arrive at the quest site before 2300 hours today. Survive until dawn. Quest requires that everyone has a deep and unfathomable well in their hearts. The well is buried with unspeakable and unbearable memories. Looking at this series of new notifications, I felt a chill down my spine. With no additional requirements, just to keep me alive until daybreak. Seems quite simple. In reality, it is far more dangerous than Midnight Hunt. Immediately I chased after the direction the two people had left. I need to gather more information from them. The boy is the initiator of this trial quest. There must be clues to the quest on him. But when I arrived at the roadside, the two had already prepared to get on the car. I couldn't make it in time, so I had to flag down a taxi. I asked the driver to follow the direction of the bus. As the scene changed, I had already followed to the door. Looking at little Leo's parents with a puzzled face, I hurriedly explained. I am the owner of Adventure House. Just now, I heard you talking about little Leo. Suddenly I thought that I happened to know a psychologist. Maybe he can help take a look at him. Unexpectedly, she became even more cautious after hearing that. Sometimes silence is better than words. With a sudden inspiration, I reached out and took out the newly acquired medal. I explained it once again. After checking the medal, Aunt finally let her guard down. Come in. Little Leo is sleeping in the room. I can tell you about his specific situation first. According to Aunt Fan's description, 3 years ago Twilight High School had not been closed off yet. Little Leo's parents went to the school in the rain to look for their lost son. It was on that rainy night when little Leo's parents went missing. According to Aunt Fan's analysis, their bodies are very likely hidden inside the well at Twilight High School. And throughout the whole process, little Leo may have been a witness the entire time. Upon hearing this, I also understand why little Leo has become so reclusive. But I couldn't help but ask one question. Did you adopt Leo Fan because you don't have children of your own? After hearing my question, Aunt Fan directly broke down and cried. I was completely caught off guard by this. She actually had 2 children before. It's just that they died when they were very young. Upon hearing this, I quickly got up and awkwardly apologized. I immediately changed the subject. Fortunately, you and Leo Fan can still rely on each other. This has helped alleviate her sadness. After half a moment of silence, the woman suddenly got up and walked towards the storage cabinet behind her. It seemed like she was looking for something. She began speaking while searching. My brother took a very strange photo the day before the incident. It was taken in a restricted classroom at Twilight High School. There are rumors that the classroom is very sinister. There are rumors that the ghost of a crematorium worker attends classes in there. There are also rumors that a worker was killed inside. My brother had too much to drink the day before the incident, so he stayed overnight at the school. From what he told me, he encountered a group of students as he passed by that classroom, who pulled him in to take a graduation photo together. When he woke up, he was holding this photo in his hand. I looked at this picture. I also feel that the content on it is very eerie. The students in the photo are all facing away from the camera, and they are all standing on tiptoe. Aunt Fan pointed at the photo with a serious expression and added, "I checked. Twilight High School didn't take any graduation photos that day. My brother and sister-in-law must have been killed by these ghosts." Just then, I suddenly noticed Leo Fan hiding behind the door with a creepy expression on his face. His eyes were fixed on me, and his mouth slightly open. It seemed like he wanted to say something to me. Aunt Fan saw him coming out and immediately greeted him with a smile. She introduced me to him as Brother Chen, who had just been to the amusement park. Leo Fan still didn't speak. Instead, he reached out and handed me a note. I opened it and saw that it was a painting. Vaguely, I could see that it was a black house. The red part inside should be a person. Aunt Fan also became a commentator at this time. This child usually doesn't like to go out, always hiding in the room by himself. He likes to draw when he has nothing to do. If the doctor you mentioned can help little Leo improve, then it is really. Thank you so much. I put away the drawing paper, replied that I would contact the doctor to come over as soon as possible, so I'm ready to go back. After walking out of the neighborhood, I was thinking back on what just happened. I always feel like there is something wrong with that woman. But for a moment, I couldn't figure out what the problem was. Closed classroom, mysterious water well, and the painting of a little boy. Are all inside that black house, ghost? My head hurts. It seems like my trip to Twilight High School tonight. It must be super dangerous. Forget it. Let's just make the best of it. This silly male lead. He actually went to the haunted school alone in the middle of the night and live-streamed himself playing the pen ghost game with a seemingly confused mind. And the next second, he got scared out of his wits. Ahem, just kidding. Let's continue. In order to complete the horror quest announced on the phone, I had to rush to Twilight High School before midnight. When I tried to get a taxi to take me there, several taxis refused to drive me upon hearing the destination. It was a rainy night in the middle of the night. After much effort, I finally found a car willing to send me nearby. However, after arriving at the destination, the driver threw away the cushion I sat on and ran off. It seems like this place is really spooky. But for the future of Adventure House, I had no choice but to bravely enter Twilight High School. Upon stepping into the school, my phone immediately displayed a new notification. In addition to the main quest of surviving until dawn, there are 4 side quests: the 5th stall in the haunted bathroom, the water well, and the sealed classroom. To successfully unlock the scene, you must complete all quests. Looking at each one is comparable to a Nightmare Quest side quest. I can't help but feel overwhelmed. Are they trying to push me to my limits? While it's not yet midnight, I must quickly complete the side quests. Considering that the sealed classroom may be the source of the supernatural, I chose to check out the dormitory building first. Just arrived at the dormitory building, I was immediately drawn to the first room. Under the flashlight's beam, I could vaguely see a desk in the dorm room with paper and pens on it. Upon closer inspection, I saw that the paper had writing on it. It said, "When will I die and how? Who will be next, etc." It seems like this is the site for the Pen Ghost quest. Hello, online friends. I am about to start live streaming. Today, let's play the Pen Ghost game. Those who are timid can mention a friend to watch together. Comment with an interesting emoji for good luck. I am currently in a female dormitory at Twilight High School in the western suburbs. It has been closed off for many years. so the environment may be relatively old. However, the paper and pen on this desk are quite new. It seems that someone played the pen ghost game here later. Without much ado, I will give it a try too, haha. After a brief introduction, I sat down and began the summoning ceremony. I won't disclose the incantation here, so that the audience can try it themselves. As the incantation was recited, 3 apparitions suddenly appeared around the table. Feeling the chill beside me, I sneakily glanced over and broke out in a cold sweat instantly. Damn, how come 3 of them appeared at once? The next moment, 3 pairs of dark hands quickly reached out towards me. Immediately, my hand holding the pen was out of control. It was as if it were being held by the dark hands. Automatically, it drew circles on the paper. Regarding this bizarre scene, I had to console myself that the pen ghost had heard my call. So, I forced myself to stay calm and asked the question, "Do you know where my parents have gone?" Just as the words fell, the pen in hand made a sound of breaking. "I'll go. Is this problem too difficult? Or shall I ask a random one? Let's finish this quest quickly. Can you tell me, pen ghost, who will be my future wife?" This time, there were no more accidents. I saw the tip of the pen moving slowly on the paper. I stared at the gradually forming characters. But I was once again stunned. Shu, could it be Ella's shoe? Before I could even laugh out loud, the pen stopped moving again. I could clearly see more and more cracks appearing on it. Before long, the whole pen completely shattered. This sudden turnaround, it made me dumbfounded and stiff. It didn't give me time to react. Countless red lights instantly covered my eyes. When I regained my senses, a shadow resembling Isla Jean has appeared in front of me. Unreasonably, the coercive little ghosts changed the answer to the question, erased the character that was just written, and replaced it with Isla Zhang's name. That's right, this spirited young man is me. I'm speechless looking at the answer on the paper. The girl named Isla Zhang is my ghost girlfriend. I never thought that she would get jealous just by playing a simple game. However, I dare not say much about this. I can only recite the spell disappointedly, ending this game of pen ghost. Although there was an accident, after this turn of events, the popularity of the live stream room unexpectedly surged to as many as 20,000 viewers. This is what they call turning a mishap into a blessing. A viewership of 20,000 has broken my previous record. When will my YouTube channel reach 20,000 subscribers? Thank you for your support. However, I would like to remind everyone, the content of the live broadcast is purely for entertainment purposes. Please do not imitate it. After completing the pen ghost quest, I plan to finish the quest in the 5th stall of the restroom. There are 3 hours until midnight. I should have enough time to finish the remaining 3 side quests. As I was contemplating my quest plan, my phone suddenly rang. I picked up the phone curiously, wondering who would still be contacting me at this hour. A voice came through. It turned out to be Chloe Gao's dad. He mainly wanted to check on Leo Fan's situation. Yes, he is the psychologist I recommended. Upon learning the caller's identity, I immediately greeted him warmly. I then proceeded to share Leo Fan's age and basic information with him. This little boy particularly likes dark places. Unlike in the sunlight, he appears very active at Ghost House. And he is also very interested in the actress dressed as a female ghost at Adventure House. After listening to my introduction, Professor Gao's voice suddenly became serious. He indicated that Leo Fan may have bipolar disorder, a condition often characterized by destructive behavior and self-isolation. As for the changes that occurred at Ghost House, it is very likely due to something different about your ghost house. He really hit the nail on the head with that statement. I instantly understood the reason for the situation. The biggest difference between my ghost house and the outside world is that there are actually ghosts in my ghost house. In other words, Leo Fan likes to come to Ghost House because he enjoys being with ghosts. The cause and effect became clear. However, I suddenly felt a cold shiver down my spine. I recalled the painting that Leo Fan handed to me in the beginning. There are many red tiny figures living in the black house. Now it looks more like the room they live in. If the previous guesses are correct, are all these red tiny figures? Are they all ghosts? Leo Fan's parents were killed on a rainy night a few years ago. He was an eyewitness at the scene. The killer definitely had no reason to spare him, knowing the truth. Unless the killer knows Leo Fan or Leo Fan himself is the killer. The more I deduce, the more absurd it becomes. So much so that I forgot I was still on the phone with Professor Gao. I was startled by his sudden greeting. After coming to my senses, I exchanged a few words with Professor Gao. I mentioned that I would take Leo Fan to see him when I have the time, then ended the call. Unknowingly, I arrived at the dormitory's bathroom. Taking a deep breath, I walked into the restroom. I counted from left to right, 1, 2, 3. After confirming the location of the fifth stall, I didn't hesitate and opened the door directly. The next second, the scene inside the door shocked me. I saw only the walls of this stall. The walls were covered in a dense pattern of eye motifs, giving off a very eerie feeling. After scanning carefully for a few rounds, I discovered a rather unique pattern. Upon closer inspection, I unexpectedly noticed two tiny figures hidden inside. It seems like the person in compartment 6 is peeping into compartment 5. Recalling the description of the black phone, a red figure always appears in compartment 5 at midnight. However, besides this concealed pattern, I haven't discovered any trace of the red figure. Do I need to wait here until midnight? Roughly guess the completion conditions of the quest. I reached behind and pulled out a big hammer. Let's confront it head on. No matter who comes, they will be met with a hammer first. I hid in the 6th compartment and took on the role of a creep. It's my first time being a creep, and I want to backstab the ghost. It feels a bit exciting to think about. Not long. I heard hurried footsteps outside the door. But through the eye pattern, I saw an unexpected scene. Two little brats ran into the 5th compartment unexpectedly, and those eyes on the wall disappeared. This is a bit awkward now. How did the red shadow turn into kids? If I hammer down, won't I be bullying ghosts too much? Suddenly, I realized something again. Could these two kids be the siblings mentioned in another quest at the deep well? Could it be? Are these two children Aunt Fan's kids? But why are they here then? They seem to be hiding from something very scary. As expected, the next second, a red figure appeared in the 5th compartment. Seeing this red figure, the two children cried even harder. Meanwhile, hiding in the next compartment, I took everything in my sight. Directly swinging the sledgehammer, I smashed through the walls of the compartment. I closed my eyes and shouted wildly, swinging the sledgehammer frantically. Immediately, I only heard a crisp muffled sound. I successfully hit the red ghost shadow. The red shadow, when hit, actually revealed its true form. But it seems like it hasn't fully manifested. The ghost shadow lay on the ground crying for a few moments, then immediately sprang up, rushed out the door, and fled. Seeing this ridiculous scene, I couldn't help but be stunned. Has this guy forgotten his own identity? He really embarrassed the face of ghosts. The girl behind is still crying, making me extremely irritated. I directly yelled at them. What are you crying for? They are all ghosts. Stop pretending to be victims. When I shouted, even the boy next to me started crying. It seems like I am the ghost. I was just about to ask a few questions gently. The two children ran out crying. No matter how loud I shouted, I couldn't stop them. In a flash, they ran out of my sight. Heaven knows, they were just acting all pitiful moments ago. In the blink of an eye, they disappeared. I kept complaining as I chased after them in the direction they vanished. Soon, I arrived at a rundown office. Were these two little rascals intentionally luring me here? I circled the office and unexpectedly found Leo Fan's backpack on the desk. So, this place should be Leo Fan's father's office desk. To hear what Aunt Fan said. After being rejected by many schools, why did Liu Fan end up at Twilight High School? What was the reason that led to him being excluded from all regular schools? This teacher, who is already a father, turned out to be a perverted voyeur with nothing better to do. He loves to sneak into the stalls of the women's restroom to peek at students using the toilet. I am chasing two ghosts. I followed them to an old office. I happened to find Liu Fan's father's desk. However, just as I was about to see if there were any new clues here, I was suddenly shocked by what was in the drawer. Multiple letters accusing Liu Fan's father. The contents on them really refreshed my understanding of this respectable teacher. In other words, the person peeking in the sixth compartment is Liu Fan's father. These 3 letters and notes are all different, indicating that at least 3 people know about his dirty habit. Teacher Fan left these notes in order to identify these individuals through their handwriting. However, the strong tone in the letters doesn't seem like something a victim would write. Could it be that they were the ones who threw Teacher Fan into the well? On that rainy night, Teacher Fan and his wife disappeared at the same time. It's hard to imagine a group of students could make 2 adults vanish without a trace. The letter also mentioned a girl. The writer wanted Teacher Fan to apologize to her. So, if I can find her, all the problems will be solved. After some analysis, once I found a breakthrough, I encountered a new difficulty. The girl may not even be alive now. Finding her will undoubtedly be very difficult. The clues were lost, so I had no choice but to head to the sealed classroom. I planned to complete the other 2 quests before midnight. However, this quest is not easy either. The most rumored story about this classroom is that during a school outing, the bus had an accident and everyone on board died. However, people passing by later claimed to see students attending class inside. Next, I will reveal the truth for everyone. As I entered the classroom, I found that it was no different from the other classrooms, just a little quieter. After further exploration, I suddenly found a desk with paper and pen on it. I leaned in for a closer look, only to discover densely written words on the desktop. From the content, it seemed to be written in the tone of the girl who was being spied on. It appears that the moving eyeball in the bathroom left her with a deep psychological trauma. I carefully read each word. Accidentally, I pushed the pen on the desk off the tabletop. The next second, a hand reaching out from under the table suddenly appeared. It caught the pen that was about to fall. I naturally took the pen from the hand of Ghost and absent-mindedly said thank you. It wasn't until I straightened my back that I belatedly realized what that hand was all about. The more I thought about it, the more guilty I felt. Cold sweat unconsciously broke out from my forehead. In the end, courage triumphed over fear. I tightly gripped the large hammer and turned around to shout, "Who is it?" At a critical moment, the phone alert rang again. The classroom where no one had ever entered before. People crowded in as soon as it was midnight. This damn alert. It plunged me into endless fear again. Damn it, it's almost 12 o'clock now.